Being an anime fan is one thing, but being a Dragon Ball fan is another ballgame, cause with it comes its criticisms, and one of the most talked of is that Dragon Ball has no story. But is that fact true or false? Well, let's find out. Dragon Ball having no story has been the epitome for those who don't like the series. I can't begin to count the number of times people ask me if I watch anime, and the conversation goes well until I mention Dragon Ball, and then the spam starts on why. Why do I love Dragon Ball when it can't even be compared to most high-end anime like Naruto, Attack on Titan, or most especially One Piece? And I can agree that Dragon Ball is weak in story compared to these three, but is it bad? Well, the thing is, Dragon Ball stories can be different from the conversational stories that we know from other animes, especially modern ones at this point, with most storylines being its own saga, which doesn't quite correlate well with the previous story told. Like for example, the Cell Saga, which just came completely unawares. But was it bad? Hell no. It is what I would consider today as peak. Toriyama didn't base Dragon Ball to have more one-line stories, rather introducing stories and having the characters take role in them, and someone makes it up as it goes along, and so gives us some of these moments that make it the best that it is. Although oftentimes Toriyama does write himself to a wall at times by implementing story patterns that, if logically analyzed, doesn't quite make sense. Like again, the introduction of Dr. Jiro and the androids. He just sort of popped out of nowhere. Yes, you could say he's a member of the Red Robot Army, yeah, that does make sense, but how did he escape Goku's rampage? Why wasn't he teased back then? The original creators of the androids were said to be a different scientist, which was introduced later on in the OG Dragon Ball, which he was a pretty chill guy, even regretted making the androids, or that the existence of Boo isn't fully explained. Why was he particularly placed on Earth? Why did it take so long to resurrect, especially with everything that's been going on Earth up to that point, since his entire epitome is to be eating off of energy in order to resurrect. This although make it seem like Dragon Ball stories are actually whack, which I still disagree. In these stories, we have good character development. Most of the iconism Dragon Ball holds today wouldn't exist, and although Dragon Ball was also aiming for younger audiences, it was also enjoyed by most mature audiences as well. Cause if I think back as a kid, if I were to watch Naruto, I wouldn't understand most of the themes, especially what it was trying to convey in Shippuden, or Attack on Titan's insane plot twist or storyline wouldn't be easy for me to grasp if I was still a kid. But Dragon Ball really balanced the equation by giving less complex stories and more of action, which is the entire basis of Dragon Ball. But still, I feel like this area of Dragon Ball is actually slightly fixed by Super. Huh? Hear me out. It is quite clear that Dragon Ball Super isn't anyone's favorite, which quite frankly is understandable. I mean, the animation in the first episodes like Battle of Gods and Resurrection F didn't sit well with anyone. But you can't lie, they later improved on that part, and if the anime returned, we sure as heck might be having a One Piece level animation. Why I say that Dragon Ball Super is a bit improving on the story elements of Dragon Ball in general is that aside from, again, the first episodes of Super like Resurrection F, we can't see that Toriyama actually followed the storyline. The entirety of Super is about gods. It's about expanding Dragon Ball. We got introduced to the concept of gods, God Key, other universes, beings way more powerful than Goku, and above all, a good conclusive end. The entirety of Super being about gods and, of course, other universes, and having it conclude with a tournament which showcase how strong other universes are and how far Goku and Vegeta has gone. Although I wouldn't say that Dragon Ball Super didn't fuck some things up, cause it did, like in the writing, which I would say is kinda lazy at times. But above all, it still beats the fact that Dragon Ball has no story, cause it does. The stories are there. They may not be at the level we know today, one that will keep us guessing and in awe, but it's there. And if you feel hesitant in watching this series, then I hope this video at least does make it convincing to at least try. Maybe it's nostalgia that makes people fall so much in love with the series, but if that was all, why is it till this day it still breaks records upon records and remains so strong despite all the competition? Well, I'll leave that to your thoughts. Although there could be more I can talk about, but I gotta go. But if you like this video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe for the next one. So I'm gonna leave you with a question. What would you change about Dragon Ball?